in one of the heats. Third on the grid is Antonio Ortiz, who is one of the engineers that works at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Valencia. So he's representing one of our circuit partners here this evening. Be interesting to see how he goes. And alongside him is the runner-up in EuroNASCAR 2 from last year, Giorgio Maggi, at the wheel of the number 18 car. Chris Lehman and Max Lancer line up on the next row of the grid. Bert Longines and Fred Gabillon, who have both been around EuroNASCAR for a very good number of years, line up on the next row of the grid. And then just to give you the sixth row of the grid, it's Jakob Krafek, who is representing Autodrome Most here this evening. So again, another one of our vital circuit partners that we work so closely with. Lines up alongside Roy Hendricks. And I will give you the next row of the grid because it's number 48, Santu Vauxhall-Turian, that lines up alongside the other circuit partner that we've got. And that is the Hockenheimring American Fan Fest Chevy of Stefan Krasin, who is, again, an esports racer, Andre, but only qualified, 14th for this race. So a little bit off the pace to where we thought he might have been. Look at where Loris Hasemans is, though. He's only 16th on this grid.
Yeah, I think he has not set a decent lap. Maybe he had some technical problems. I cannot confirm anything yet because I have no message from Loris what happens. And yeah, Stefan Krasin, he's focusing on over racing when he's doing his casual over racing stuff during the week. So turning left and right is something he's not very familiar with. He did the 24 hours of Spa, I know that. So yeah, but he's a oval racing specialist. But let him get into this race and adopt a little bit, and I think he's one of those guys fighting for a top 10 spot here later.
So remember, Tobias Danhauer on pole position lies third in the championship standings. There are no points for the heats, though, so all he needs to do is make sure that he finishes well in this heat to give him a good grid position for the final race of the season, and that is what carries the championship points. And remember, because it is the finals, it's double championship points, as it was at Charlotte on the Roval a couple of weeks ago when we were there. So we see the safety car just bringing the cars out of Jochen Rundbucht and up towards the Jackie X chicane, and then from there they will be off around this as good as 4 kilometre or 2.5 mile circuit, ready for 10 laps of our first race of the evening in the EuroNASCAR Esports Series in conjunction with iRacing, with support from i-cin.com and Sim Racing League TV. So out of the Jackie X chicane, and then from there the lights will go out and we'll get things underway. Good start from Tobias Danhauer, who gets the jump on Andre Castro as they head down towards turn number 1 Erst. Very difficult to get the car braked and turned in towards the first of the left-handers, and from there it's up towards Sterabak Bucht, which is turn number 2. Tobias Danhauer leading the race. Andre Castro in second place. We're looking at the car of Bavo Fallon, who is fighting away with Alessandro Brigatti. We'll go on board with Brigatti. To his right is Bavo Fallon. The two of them must be side by side through that corner. Yeah, just still hanging on to each other. So that's through the Canal Bocht, the Canal Bend, and then down through up towards the Klina chicane, which is where they'll be coming now. And look at the squabble that's going on side by side further back, and everybody comes out pointing in the right direction. I think Giorgio Maggi got a bit of a tap there, though, and the number 18 car has now lost places because Max Lancer went through, Chris Lehman went through, and Fred Gabillon at the wheel of the white and black Toyota also managed to squeeze his way through. But largely, Andre, so far, it's all gone to plan for everybody. Everybody's still circulating, a bit of bumping and barging, but everybody's still there.
Yes, a very clean start, but I saw a very crazy drift by Loris Hasemans in the beginning in the back, and I think he lost 1 or 2 spots there, but he's charging his way up again. I think he was 18th for 1 or 2 seconds, and then he was back in 16th. So Hasemans had a tough start. I'm very sure that he had an incredible drift back there and lost some space, some time.
And he's more time there because Antonio Ortiz span right in front of him into the wall, and it looked as though Loris Hasemans had to sort of avoid making contact with that car as it was sort of spinning like a top around the circuit after the contact. So that's cost Hasemans a little bit more time, and he desperately needs to try and make some up if he can. So we're looking now at Andre Castro, still in second position at this stage. Remember, Hasemans, who's had a poor qualifying and then had a few issues already in this race, is way down in 15th position at the moment, which is going to see him, if he stays there, towards the tail end of the main race grid. He's going to have to fight it through in the last chance qualification race as well if he doesn't haul himself up inside the top 10. Tobias Dauenhauer continuing to lead the race. Let's just have a quick look. So we're looking at Gasper Donovsek, the Marco Steep Motorsport car. He gets really sideways. That is heading towards, I think, turn number 4, I think. So Lucian Bianchi-Bocht, I think, was where that spin was on the way into. Fred Gabillon, 3 times a runner-up in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, is pushing on hard. Look at his mirrors. He's got Giorgio Maggi sitting there. Toyota ahead of Ford. It's Ford that leads the race. Then 4 Chevys from 2nd through to 5th. And the Toyota of Fred Gabillon sitting there in 6th place. Giorgio Maggi is 7th. Bert Longines is up to 8th now. Jakob Krafik is 9th. And Santi Vauxatorium completes the top 10 the way things currently stand. But the 10 minutes is ticking down. 7 minutes to go. This is the best of the battles at the moment, isn't it, Andre? For 6th and for 7th place. Fred Gabillon using all of that experience he's got in EuroNASCAR.
Yes, a very nice battle, but you saw that Giorgio Maggi is a very fast driver, especially at Circuit Zolder last year when he lost the championship against Lasse Sørensen, but Giorgio Maggi did a very great job here in Belgium. So this is one of those tracks Giorgio Maggi is very good at, but of course, you said it, Frédéric Gabillon has a lot of experience in EuroNASCAR per se. He's one of those veterans with a lot of pace, a great speed, and I think this is going to be a great battle for the rest. 6 minutes, I think, we have on the clock. And yeah, right now it's all about staying in the top 10, get your fixed spot for the main race, and because in this race you will get championship points, and in the end it's all about real team championship points for the 2020 season that will kick off in September at Vallelunga, and then in October 3rd and 4th we will be back here in the real world at Circuit Zolder. So yeah, it's a little bit of a preview what we will see in the real world in October when we visit this track with the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, and I'm looking really forward to it.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, 3rd and 4th of October is the dates that is set in the calendar for the return of real NASCAR racing rather than the virtual NASCAR racing that we have this evening at Circuit Zolder. So Andre Castro is still pressing on. He's still behind Tobias Dauenhauer. The two of them go over the start-finish line, and the gap between the pair of them actually comes out a little bit that time through, so it's just been stretched by about another 3/4 of a second. Still not a great deal, though. Alessandro Brigatti is still going very well in 3rd position, not under any pressure at all from Bavo Follon, who is sitting there in 4th. So it's sort of the top 3 that seem to have made a breakaway. Here is car number 411, which is Bert Longines, driving for Circuit Zolder this evening, but he's under enormous pressure from another one of the circuit partner cars that sits behind. That is the OMV Max Motion NASCAR Most machine that sits behind of Stefan Krassin, and is really putting him under pressure. Not Stefan Krassin, I ought to say. Jakob Krafik, I ought to say. So that is what is putting Bert Longines under pressure, and that's for 8th and 9th position. As for 10th, well, Loris Hazemans is starting to get the job done now. He was down in 15th a few laps ago, Andre. He has been working his way quietly up through the order, has now got himself into 10th position, and how vital, Andre Weigold in commentary, could that be? Because at the moment, he's now automatically qualified for the main race.
Yes, incredible what Loris Hazemans is doing, but he has to finish the job. He has to get his spot in the main race, and of course he wants a spot in the front, not being in the last starting positions, because he has to go to the consolidation race. So yeah, Hazemans has to do this job. He has to get into the top 10, and maybe a top 8, top 6 finish is still on the line. It's 3.5 minutes left, so Hazemans with his speed, he has to do a little bit of work to get there, but I think he's very, very fast, and when he did not have these problems in the qualifying, I think he would have been in the top 5 easily.
And now he's looking to try and steal 9th place away. Yeah, Chevy, then Ford, and then Toyota, because losing a place is Jakob Krafik at the wheel of the Autodrome Most car, and that now puts Loris Hazemans up into 9th position. The next car he's going to want to try and unpick from its position is car number 411, which is Bert Longines, and it looks already as though he's got a bit of a run on Bert Longines. Longines is going to close the door, though, as he's quite entitled to do as they go through Lucian Bianchi-Bocht there. And then from there, it's down the straight and up towards the cleaner chicane once more. And again, you can see that Hendricks Ford sniffing around. He's got the inside line, but Longjing gives it up. He's not involved in the championship fight, leaps over the curbs. But more importantly, another place gain for Loris Hazeemans. He's now up into 8th position, which of course moves him up another row on the grid now in the main race, if he continues to stay where he is, of course. Bert Longines struggling now. Jakob Krafik goes through. Also looks as though the 23 of Henry Tuamala goes through. So Bert Longines all of a sudden now is out of the automatic qualification places. How quickly things change, Andre. Hazeemans wasn't in automatic qualification now, whereas Bert Longines was looking safe to automatically qualify. He's now out, down in 11th.
Yeah, it's very close. We see a very tight competition here in the EuroNASCAR Esports Series. Of course, we have a fixed setup, so everybody has got the same car settings. So it's all about the driver not doing any mistakes, finding the right rhythm and find the right racing line and try to push as much as possible. When we see somebody was spinning there on my screen, I know I have different angles than you have, but I just want you to tell that there was a spin. I tried to check who was it, but I will give you that information as soon as I can confirm it.
Okay, Chris Lehman will be dining out on this race forever. He's got a 3 times NASCAR Whelen Euro Series runner-up behind him, and I mean EuroNASCAR Pro as well, the top division. He's got a runner-up in EuroNASCAR 2 behind him. He's got a champion in EuroNASCAR Pro behind him in Loris Hazeemans, because Chris Lehman is in 5th position at the moment for DF1 Marco Steep Motorsport Racing, and is going beautifully well. The man who is part of the media team for Marco Steep Motorsport, running car number 348. If it starts with a 3, then he's a EuroNASCAR team member. If the cars start with a 2, and therefore they sit in the 200s, they're EuroNASCAR Club Challenge drivers. If it's in the 100s, it's EuroNASCAR 2 driver. And if it's 0 to 99 numbered, then those are drivers that are in the EuroNASCAR Pro division. That's how the numbers work in each of the cars. So he is going so well, and I haven't as yet really seen him put a wheel wrong. It's a circuit that he knows well, Andre, and he'll be absolutely loving the fact that he's having his best run of the EuroNASCAR Esports season.
Yes, but there's 30 seconds left to go, so let's wait until the checkered flag falls. You know what happens when we tell that the driver is doing very good, and then the next second, I don't want to say anything more. But just the information, Max Lanza was the guy spinning, and he's in 14th, I think, right now.
Right.
And yeah, Chris Lehman, he is doing a great job. He started iRacing, I think, a few weeks ago. He was not into iRacing before. He did other simulations as well, but iRacing was something completely new for him. And now he's adopting, he's getting faster every race. And at the end of the EuroNASCAR Esports Series season, he may get one of those big wins for him personally, maybe a top 10 in the main race. That's what he's aiming for, I think. So yeah, Chris Lehman is doing a good job, great development over the races, and maybe, we don't know yet, but if there's gonna be another one of the EuroNASCAR Esports Series with those guys from the teams, maybe he's one of those guys in the front in the future when there's another series.
We saw the spin for Max Lanza. Yeah, just got on the power too early coming out of the Jackie X chicane by the look of things. And that is where now, up towards the Jackie X chicane, our lead pair are going. Tobias Dauenhauer has done enough to keep at bay Andre Castro, who will be hugely conscious that there's a championship to fight for in the main race. There's no extra points for trying to grab a position and firing the car off the road in a heat. So Tobias Dauenhauer claims the win. He will be delighted with that, Tobias Dauenhauer. That is his 4th heat win of the esports season. Andre Castro finishes in 2nd place. Alessandro Brigatti comes through and is 3rd with Bovo Follon in 4th position. Can Chris Lehman hang on to 5th place? He's about to head over the start-finish line. Yeah, 5th place for Chris Lehman. He will be hugely pleased with that. Fred Gabion in 6th, Giorgio Maggi 7th, and it was 8th in the end for Loris Hazeemans, so he has just about managed to automatically